Acharya, the political debate will happen. That's obviously expected, given that Mahua Moitra is from an opposition-ruled state. She's from an opposition party. But I want to ask you, I'm very intrigued to know what is it that the ethics committee can actually do. What is their mandate and what is their power? I ask you this because the two complainants in the case have already deposed before them. Mahua Moitra will depose before them end of the month. Uske baad kya?
See, the mandate of this committee is to investigate complaints regarding the unethical or immoral conduct of members of parliament. Now, nobody has defined the unethical conduct, and it's not possible to give a clear definition to that term. And therefore, we have to make a guess. The committee has to look at the conduct of the member, analyze it thoroughly, and see whether there is anything in that conduct which is unacceptable to the House, which harms the dignity of the House, which lowers the dignity of the House, and so on. And then I can also say that a conduct which doesn't involve a breach of privilege and which is not acceptable to the House is an unethical conduct. That is the only definition I can give to that particular term. Now the question is, what next? The committee has started looking into it. They have already taken the deposition of certain, perhaps the complainant and somebody else. And this will go on for some time. And what exactly is the committee looking into in this particular case? The question is whether she has received any illegal gratification for putting questions on behalf of somebody. Okay. In that case, as I said in my, in my interview to the Indian Express, I have made it clear that if that is the case, and if that is proved, then of course it is a serious case of breach of privilege of the House. Because a member cannot put questions or do any parliamentary work on behalf of a third person by taking money or any other gratification, So that becomes a breach of privilege. If that is not there, then naturally it is not a breach of privilege case. Then what is it? If a member of parliament has given her password and login details to another person, and that person is perhaps putting questions. Okay. Now, I must tell you that this submission of online questions, is a new practice. It was not there earlier. Therefore, the rule remains that a member of parliament has to sign the questions and submit it. Somebody will submit it, but member has to sign that and put his identity number, that is the division number. Now, online submission, that doesn't happen. But the point is, as I understand, a member has the occasion to check what kind of questions are going. That is there. Now, if the member has an occasion
Mr. Acharya,
to check what
can I just quickly ask you this question? Acharya, can I just quickly ask you this question? I want to ask you, suppose, theoretically, the ethics panel does find that there is a breach of privilege, that there is wrongdoing. What is it that the ethics committee can do? Can it order the CBI to probe the matter? Can it suspend Mahua Moitra? Do they have those sort of powers?
Can I reply to that question? Now, the ethics committee cannot say that it is a breach of privilege because that is not their mandate. For breach of privilege, there is another committee that is called Breach Privileges Committee. And the Privileges Committee's remit is to investigate cases of breach of privilege. As I explained in the beginning, that if money had been given for asking questions, then naturally that is a clear case of breach of privilege and contempt of the House. But here, if money has not changed hands or gratification has not been received, then of course it is not a breach of privilege. And then what is it? A member has given a password to somebody, and that somebody has put questions. Now, is that an unacceptable conduct? In fact, many of the members have given their password to their PAs. Now, the question is, nobody can look into what source of information a member has. A member has information from different sources. It may be from an illegal source, but he gets information from different sources. There have been rulings by the Speaker that nobody has any right to look into the source of information of a member of parliament. Now, a member of parliament entrusts this work to another person, a third person, and gives his password to that person, and that person puts questions online. And the member of parliament has occasion to see that question. Then what is the problem? If a member says that I have taken responsibility for this, then there is no other question. Many of the members have no time to sit down and draft questions. Hundreds of questions are being submitted in the Lok Sabha. Hundreds of questions are being written in the name of the members. It is not the members of parliament who sit down and write all these questions. These are all written by somebody else and submitted it. That is how the system works.
No, that's a good point you make.
Let us look at the practical side.
That's a good point actually you put, and that is something that Mahua Moitra has been saying as well, sir, that look, there are MPs whose PAs and clerks and staff have all these passwords and they are putting things there. If that's not wrong, how is what I did wrong? So that is a point that is a stand that she has taken as well. But Mr. Acharya, thank you very much. I think it's important what you say, because everyone has just assumed Mahua Moitra guilty. Even as we speak, the ethics panel is divided over whether she is guilty of what she is charged with or not. Mahua Moitra reports to the committee on the 31st of this month. We'll see how that goes. Thank you, Mr. Acharya. Thank you for explaining to us the difference between the ethics committee and the privileges panel. What's the difference, etc. It was good to have you on the show. Ladies and